Let me tell you something. Mikey stepping back in the basketball arena. We talking, and we're looking at what I consider to be one of the craziest things to happen in the NBA is for the Golden State Warrior former champions to be able to get one potential all-star and then one potential really good role player in what I consider Moses Moody in this draft. Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody to the Warriors, as I stated before, make them one of the scariest teams in the NBA when they had their initial roster. And they have made some clearance rack moves that I do not like. I wanted them to have that depth. I'm going to get into it real quick, but I want to do first my quick synopsis of what I'm seeing here in Jonathan Kuminga jersey stand up from the area. Patrick School, you know what it is. I really like what I see from Kuminga. I thought he was Kawhi, and now that I'm seeing him more, Kawhi mixed in with Giannis. Yes, I said it here first. If he develops, he could be something of that realm. I love the kid, and I'm not sure why Magic or any of the earlier teams did not pick him up. But I'm glad he went to the Warriors where he can run and gun. That said, Moses Moody is a guy. Immediately, I think about a Chris Middleton type of player. Doesn't have the handles yet, but definitely is on the come up. And they're both over 6'7", 6'8". Can you imagine these guys paired with Mr. Andrew Wiggins? I'm going to get there in a second, just talk about that as we look to how the NBA turns and some of the abilities of these young talents. That's scary. Look at that block. Look at the leaping ability on Kuminga, man. He is a monster. How dare you not pick this kid up in the NBA draft? Horrible decision by GMs. Now, let's get started with the look. I want to go ahead and step back a little bit as we always do and look at the Warriors roster and kind of understand for me what happened and why did they make the moves they did in trading a couple personnel pieces that I thought, even though it was crowded, I was like, keep these guys, keep them on the roster. Let's see what they could do. Let's see how smart our guy, Mr. Steve Kerr, is. When we look at the roster, I'm going to tell you who they had previously, okay? Kelly Oubre, free agent. They bring in Otto Porter Jr. instead of keeping Kelly Oubre. I didn't like that move. I think Kelly Oubre definitely was a player who's in the same ilk as Kuminga, a big athletic small forward, power forward. They got Kuminga as a power forward. That's not it. But I thought he was perfect, okay? I thought that Mr. Oubre would have been perfect. Two athletic freaks being able to grab Giannis, be able to guard LeBron, and his big boys being able to guard your boy, what's his name? I talked about Davis already, but there was another a big long Kevin Durant. I mean, these are guys that need these long players to be able to keep up with them. I'm not saying they can stop them, but at least it gives them some height. But they let Mr. Oubre go. They went ahead and grabbed Otto Porter Jr. at a league minimum. I can't hate on that. He's a good three-point shooter, but defensively he's not there. And I think that's what this team was missing. They added more and more offense to the squad. The next guy, remember, I'm in these streets and I'm deep in this NBA. I got a little passion for this thing, okay? Guys that I talk about, a lot of folks may not know. There's a guy named Eric Pascal, drafted. If you looked up some of my older videos, I used to have an old channel called All For Sports. And I talked about Eric Pascal being one of the steals of the draft, okay? They did not keep Eric Pascal. He was traded to the Utah Jazz to buddy up with his old guy, Donovan Mitchell. Don't be surprised if you see Eric Pascal in one time in his career being one of the six man of the year. Okay. Do not be surprised. He is an incredible talent, a 6'8", 6'7", multi-use power forward, a guy that can shoot from the outside. I don't want to say Markieff Morris. I think he has more handle than that. Definitely more athletic, but that type of player, that gritty, hard-nosed type of player who can go inside and out. He has a little finesse to him, too. Has a nice jump shot. I'm just surprised that they let him go. He was in a bad standing with somebody on the Warriors. I don't know who he beefed with or who he argued with. Something happened and he got kicked off the roster at the end of the day. And I hate to see him go. And I thought with those two mixed with Kuminga and Moses and Wiggins, right? With Andre Wiggins, who's still only 26 years old. I thought that would have been pretty nice, the all leaping squad. And I said, keep Wiseman as your tall, and then let those guys just run, man. Let those guys run. You could always pick up another 7-footer if needed, keep them on the injured reserve. Let those guys run. When I'm saying let those guys run, I'm talking, here goes to how bad I was talking. If I was going for a secondary unit lineup, okay, here goes. Toscano Anderson at center, okay? Something like that. You maybe throw Kuminga at the 4. You maybe throw Moses at the 3, okay? You maybe throw Oubre at the 2. You get a point guard. Maybe you throw in Jordan Poole as the point guard. They got Gary there too, Mr. Peyton Jr.'s son. Excuse me, Peyton's son. Things like that. Nick Mannion. There's so many of these 6'8", 6'7", across the shooting guard through center role, I thought would have been intriguing for the NBA. I thought they would have too much speed, and I think they can outrun a lot of teams. However, they didn't go that route. They are heavy at that position, as you can see. Although I'm talking a lot of stuff right now, you can see that Damian Lee is there. You can see that Draymond Green is there at that size. Jordan Bell, they returned him back. He's more of a power forward. All right, you got Poole kind of in that realm. Power Porter Jr.'s at top. I'm not gonna say he's a really shooting guard, and Toscano Jr. with Wiggins. So they were heavy in that role. However, I never think you can refute one of the best heights and positions, 6'5" to 6'8". I think those guys are invaluable because they can be utilized in so many ways. That said, especially if they're long. That said, the Warriors still enter this as one of the teams with the most intriguing pickups and players. We talked about Nikolai Bazelinka, the guy that came over from the Heat, a stretch for the other addition that we saw for the squad. On top of that was Otto Porter Jr., and that was a nice pickup. Now they're missing a lot of height. Now, if you're going to go traditional, go traditional. Where is the love from the height position? Can they get what's his name? Was it not Damian Lee, but there's another guy, another leaper, Damon Jones, that used to play for them. Go ahead and pick Damon Jones up with Wiseman. You get 2 big leapers, and you go the standard route. I'm sad about Kelly Oubre Jr. I am also sad about Pascal because he was doing so well with this team, especially when Steph and all those guys were out. They just disappeared. Something happened. Somebody didn't like him. That said, we out of here from a Mikey step back perspective. I'm still excited to see the Warriors, not as excited as I would have been, but we're going to see the star blossoming Kuminga with the team. We're going to see Moody come along as a great role player. This is going to be exciting times for, actually, where is Moses Moody? They got Kuminga here. Hopefully you trade him. Lord God, don't do that to me. But actually, let me check real quick before I let you guys go, boys. Let me check something, man. Let me just check something. You know how crazy it's been. I mean, let's just check something. Hopefully they didn't trade him. Let's see. Okay, they signed a rookie contract. So he's there. He's just not shown on his roster. It's CBS. What you got going? So we're gonna see this team really go far. I think they have a lot of talent now, and there's an opportunity here for these teams to reach the championship. You heard it here first. Yes, Warriors in the championship. They're loaded this year. Watch out. I'm gone.